Hey everybody, it's Jesty here. It's been a while since I made a video. I know I've been busy. Last time I made an announcement about a giveaway, and I was going to go through and add up all the comments and tally them all up. And after doing so, it ended up that Desert Dream, aka Sam from Command, ended up having the most comments by a good margin. So he will be one of the lucky winners of of the beginner box from Target, you know, a whole year later after they came out. It took me that long to hit 100. And also, since there was a big gap between second and third, I'm going to go ahead and give one out to Inypt, or INYPT, on the Megamech Discord. So if you guys do watch this, DM me and we can get this arranged and I can get these sent out to you, hopefully shortly. Right now, I just wanted to talk a little bit about how the VPT is going. So far, the custom maps, people have either loved it or hated it. There's been a good amount of hate directed at the fungal theme that I was using. Let me go ahead and change the tile set here. That way you can see the difference. So right now it's set to the usual. Now where's the fungus theme? There we go. This is what it looks like currently, and there's been some complaints. It's not very readable. People aren't used to the mushroom forests. Swamps suck. The ridge is in the way. It feels pretty claustrophobic. And a lot of those complaints are, yeah, you're absolutely right. It does feel claustrophobic. Yes, that ridge is in the way. Yes, the map does suck for long range. And yes, it does feel like you will be having a knockdown, drag out Mexican standoff brawl in the middle of this crater. Good. That's intended to an extent. But there's been enough complaining that I will be making some changes to make it a little more friendly for more balanced lists. That way, if you do have a sniper mech in a balanced list, it's not completely useless in this map. Or, well, I mean, even if you have an LRM boat, you can have it outside of the pit raining in from afar. But there's been enough feedback that I've made some minor tweaks here that you can already see if you have a keen eye. But I'm going to be changing this up entirely and scrapping it. Well, not scrapping it. I'm going to keep the same basic layout, but I'm going to be starting from the ground up at level 0 will be the lowest hex. That way it won't be confusing between -2, 0, and then +2. It's just for clarity's sake, just to make it simpler. But that being said, let's look at the tile set theme and put it back to grass. And that should be a lot more readable for everybody out there. There should be no question as to what's heavy, what's light. The snow is just there to, you know, give a little theme. So we'll be fixing this shortly here. I may or may not do this on video. I'm probably not going to do it on video because that's probably going to be pretty boring for those of you out there. But if you want to watch me make a map or make a list or something, let me know. And maybe I will make a video about that. This is going to be a bit of a shorter video, like I said, just mainly to get announcements out and to get a video out there. Let me see. There's another board that I made some changes to. So Bunker Busting version 2. I've gotten some feedback about this. There's been... So I changed the tile set from jungle to grasslands, so it looks a little bit different here, but the forests should all be recognizable. What's light and what's not, and what's jungle and what isn't. Also, you'll notice that the donut buildings are now going to be gone, just because it was brought to my attention that it could lead to some weird and or bad interactions, especially on the Capture the Flag map. You could land a VTOL or something in there and be pretty much completely impervious. So we've changed them to these derpy looking little Pac-Man buildings on each side. They don't look as aesthetically pleasing, but it is what it is. And we've still got the stealth bomber buildings that are absolutely perfect in their shape. But I will be making some more changes. It has been brought to my attention that there's a little too much line of sight blocking for direct fire weapons like Gauss rifles to make the most use of this long range map. So I'll be knocking down some of these forests and putting in some foliage in their place just to give a little bit more line of sight. But the little hidden forest path here and here are going to stay. Those I like. Also, just a little bit of the wonkiness with the gap in the river here. might clean this up a bit, because there were some, you know, clarity issues about it, but, you know, minor complaints, and also some people really liked it, so it's been going both ways so far. One thing that I do like to see, and I think is a good sign, is that there have been some very close matches. I know we had one match between Brad and Pirate literally come down on this map, playing bunker busting if I'm not mistaken, literally come down to 1 point of armor or structure, making the difference between the winner or loser based on BV percentage, because they were tied on objectives and mostly combat score. I think Pirate pulled ahead by like 0.001% or something, and got the objective, or got the combat objective score by 1 point. So we're still in the first week, so there's still plenty of time to get your games in. Some of you have been getting as many games in as possible and, you know, getting them out of the way, which is great. I know there's a lot of people that are going to NashCon, so this is a good test bed for that. Not necessarily these maps per se. I would probably use the actual maps that, you know, do exist, that the Catalyst made, like probably the neoprene maps and some of the other ones. But that being said, the point value and the era are accurate. It's just that, you know, NashCon's going to be mechs only, no vehicles, no BA, so it's going to be a bit different, but you can still test out mechs and get ready for NashCon that way. I'm unfortunately not going to be able to make it this year. Maybe I'll make it next year, no guarantees. There's a lot going on right now, and work and family and stuff comes first, as always, which is why I've been delaying on these videos. It's been real busy lately, but hopefully you guys got a little bit of an update, and congratulations to Sam and Inyipt. Hopefully you can get back to me soon with your addresses or whatever, and I can get these sent out to you shortly. They've been sitting in my office for quite a while, taking up space, and the wife's complaining about them, so they have got to go. But yeah, oh well, I guess I could load up some lists, but I think those are the only ones I've made actual changes to. So yeah, I'm gonna cut up this map, well, basically level everything to level 0 and start over using the same basic outline. It's going to look very similar. There's just going to be some minor tweaks for quality of life changes. So don't expect the experience to change all that much. If you didn't like it before, it's going to, maybe you dislike it less by a little bit. Hopefully, that's what I'm aiming for. So, I'll maybe do that and then add the changes or the new version to the end of the video, and you can talk to future Jesty about that. But that's all I've got for now. All right, Jesty from the future here, and as you can see, there are some significant changes. Not just the theme, it's all grasslands now, but the actual exterior has been changed. That way it's I mean, I really don't want you to be hanging out up here. It's not the purpose of the map. The purpose is to get to the middle and duke it out. Fisticuffs if necessary, preferably. But I have expanded the pit by 1 hex. As you can see here, we've basically taken up this hex. Everything starts at level 0. So the ground level is no longer -2, it is level 0. And the highest hexes on the map are going to be here, this area on the ridge, level 4. So that way you know what you're getting into. There's level 2 behind these craters here. This is all level 2, level 2, level 2, level 2, all this right here. And this is level 2 as well on the inside of that level 4. There's a little ring going from level 1 to level 2, and then level 4 for the lip of the crater, with some noticeable gaps. There's level 3 here, a level 3 here, a level 3 here, and a level 3 here. Basically one at the north, south, east, and west end of the crater. That way, if you do have a dedicated sniper mech, you can use it. I'm not gonna deny you your sniper, but if you want to stand here with the level 3 on the level 2 with the level 3 cover, you're going to be standing in a swamp, unfortunately. Or you can stand on the level 3 and be in rough terrain. That works too for me. Some things to note: there are about 8, there's 8, 16, there's about 20 hexes of heavy woods on the map entirely. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll see 4 at each of the little channel entrances. Up on the level 1, this is to block line of sight, so that way you can't have something sitting on level 1 right here and get vision all the way into the pit from the starting zone. Don't want any of that. Also, you'll note that these are already rough terrain, so these are rough heavy woods, and if you jump into them, you're going to take that additional rough penalty. And if you're standing in them, you're going to be taking that additional rough penalty. In addition, there's these 4 as well. I do not have line of sight completely blocked to the middle of the map, but there is a heavy and a light woods in the dead middle. So it's essentially blocked for the first couple turns, at least for the bare minimum, the first turn. You can get something like a dasher all the way up through the channel into the scoring zone, but that's about it. And you will not have line of sight unless you destroy those woods on the first turn or whatever. Then you'll have line of sight, but through woods or heavy woods. It's going to be real tight to get line of sight through here, which is what I want. In addition, if you're over here on the level 3 or level 2 shooting over the level 3, it's going to be a narrow band right here. I may drop these 2 down to level 3 as well. Maybe put this all at level 3 to keep it consistent. But I don't really want you to have a shooting gallery on this map in particular. There's a bit of a forest maze over here just to kind of slow you down as you get to the center. If you want to take the high ground, go for it. But you're going to have to either bob and weave around these with something that doesn't have tracks, like a wheeled vehicle or something like that, or just trudge through them straight through the little maze here. It's up to you. I'm really trying to make the out side of the crater as boring as possible, because you should be fighting in the middle of the crater over the objective, which is now level 0 water and a light forest, to delineate where you can score. So I got rid of the heavy woods here. There were some concerns about it being too defensive and too easy to jump in and jump out, or to take and hold and keep that +2 TMM. So we've downgraded it to a light woods, so you can jump into it. You don't take the penalty, but you don't get the extra +1 for it being heavy anymore. I'm considering just getting rid of this entirely and leaving it full open, but I think that's a little too much of a shooting gallery in the middle. At least this way you can play a bit of Ring Around the Rosie, and there's some decision making to be had as to where you put your back when you jump to the middle, if you want to take that extra +1. If not, then it would always be to jump to the outside ring and face your back toward your other units. That way you can't get backstabbed for free. With that being said, I'm hoping to make some more quality of life changes. The channel is also flanked by level 1 hexes, so you can get up and down if you're a tank or a proto-mech or something. You're not stuck in the ditch. So if you want to start in that level 1, you can, and then you can drop down here. So be it. I know the starting zones are a bit tight in the channels. You only have 3 hexes on each end to work with. So that's 6 hexes if you really want to. You can have all of your units down in the channel, making that bum rush toward the middle. I'd like to hear some feedback if you guys have any. I mean, the goal of the map is to encourage short-range brawling over the hill. So yes, it is supposed to be a bad map for long-range mechs. Gauss rifles don't always have to be the king of the battlefield. And LRMs can still indirect. I mean, you can plop right here behind these heavy woods and be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 from the middle, almost like I planned it that way. But you will be, there is access to get to you. And if you want to be here on the sniper perch, you're going to be in a swamp. Maybe swamp's a little too harsh. We'll make it rough terrain, bare minimum. That way you take return fire. There's a likelihood you'll fall for the additional pilot PSR for being in rough. But that's what I've got for now. I don't think rough prevents any vehicles from entering. I think you can still enter rough with tracked. If you can't, let me know and I'll change it back to something else. But it's to deter you, or not necessarily deter, but to give you a some sort of negative for standing here and taking this sniper perch. All right, with that being said, hopefully this is a little bit better for those of you, and it's not quite as claustrophobic. There's a little more room to wiggle with in the middle for those of you who brought some speed demons. That way you can shoot out these heavy woods or these light woods and have some more room to run around in. Maybe I'll get rid of some of these light woods here, just to give a little bit more wiggle room. That way, if you do have a fast mech, you can ring around the rosy and then run back into the middle. And you're not just stuck in a slugfest with a Atlas, like some people were. But here's the old map for reference, or a screenshot of it. That way you can see the differences. Instead of having just these three, or these 4 entrance points down here. With the snow, I got rid of the snow entirely. Don't have to worry about it anymore. There's no woods there's no heavy snow in the woods, but there are rocks. So these are rough, heavy woods. Just something to keep note of. Well, that does it for this video. Jesty from the future out. See you guys later.